everyone, happy Tuesday. This week's tip surrounds closing costs. These can be a surprise to both buyers and sellers when they get into a transaction. It's so important to know what exactly to expect before you decide to buy or sell a house. Here I am to make things just a little bit more simple for you. Sellers, I surely don't want your bottom line affected when you decide to sell your home. So let's get you budgeting correctly and break down what exactly you're commonly responsible for when it comes to closing costs. In Huntington Beach and Orange County in general, sellers should expect to pay between 6% and 8% of the sales price towards closing costs. For example, a home priced at $850,000 can expect to pay roughly $60,000 in closing costs. Remember, this does include your agent's and the buyer's agent's commission. If you have equity in the home, these fees will be deducted from your proceeds. A few helpful tips. First, meet with me and we'll discuss what your home's value truly is. Additionally, I'll provide you with a seller net sheet that will break down your closing costs and give you the net result of the sale. Next, you should understand the items and fees typically paid for by sellers in our market. And then, of course, always expect the unexpected. For example, you might think that your home's flawless. Maybe it's pretty dang close. But remember, a buyer will more than likely get a home inspection that could reveal some underlying issues. In a case like this, to keep the deal together, you might consider helping with closing costs to offset the cost of repairs. Now, on the buyer side, this is a real shocker for a lot of first-time home buyers. You're constantly seeing and hearing that you can buy a home with as little as 3% down, which is true. So once you have that saved, you may think that you're in the clear. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but I also don't want you thinking that's all you need. I want you to be prepared. While sellers are responsible for most of the costs associated with the transaction, as a buyer, you do still have some costs to pay for. Closing costs for buyers are generally between 2 to 3% of the sales price. We'll go ahead and use the same example as we did for sellers. On a home priced at $850,000, you should expect to pay roughly $17,000 in closing costs. Some pointers for you buyers. When we meet, I'll provide you with a buyer cost sheet. This will have estimates of all the costs and fees that you as a buyer are generally responsible for. This way, you have some kind of idea of the true cost to buying a home. Next pointer, decide your budget. Between you, me, and your lender, we'll figure out exactly what you can afford, what costs will be associated with that, and at what price you'll be comfortable buying. And then finally, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. There have been times where I have successfully negotiated a seller to pay for my client's closing costs. This does involve rolling the closing costs into the price of the home and would equate to a higher monthly payment. Additionally, in the current seller's market that we're in, this will make your offer look a little less appealing, especially amongst maybe a multiple offer situation. Now, at this point, you may be convinced that you need some guidance. You may also be thinking that you have no idea where the heck to start. If you're thinking about making a move, I'm more than happy to help, and I can absolutely guide you through the process. Just send me a message or a text. No pressure, no sales tactics, just the help and guidance that you really need. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll go ahead and see you guys next week.